I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming and welcome to our Township business meeting. Call the meeting to order. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Dykstra,
Here.
Cargill.
Yes.
Spearing,
Here.
Linda,
Here.
Ivy, here.
Oh, very good, thank you. Before the board is the agenda. If you take a look at it, and there's one addition we'd like to put on already under unfinished business, number 4, Manistee Library. Any other changes or additions or subtractions, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with the modification and Manistee.
Support and support, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Okay. Rachel, would you please do the correspondence?
You gonna do minutes?
Huh?
Minute? Minutes of last
Skip
year.
right over that. All right, got a,
I have one and I don't know, under vertical bridge, it says table this. I think didn't we just say no, we weren't gonna take any action? Rather than to table it? Okay, so just take that off.
Yep.
Everybody agrees,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I think that was said, but maybe it wasn't meant. I don't know. Whatever.
all right, we did the agenda, let's go back to the minutes, approval of the minutes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the removal of table this.
Support.
Okay. Moved and supported, let's, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. We had one abstention. Now let's go down to the correspondence, please.
Okay. The primary election results came from the county clerk. If anybody wants to look at it, then you're welcome to come see me. Then we also had, Consumers Energy. Wanted to give us an emergency kit that's gonna arrive soon.
Yeah.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
And we have, this letter,
Oh, that's gonna be at the library.
we're gonna read it during the library, all right, fine. All right. We'll go on then to Connie and the treasurer's report.
Did I give you all this?
Yep.
Okay. Evidently I had copies and prints. Okay. In our Michigan class, our investment accounts, we have $445,352.15 in general fund, $558,720.54 in the road fund. And we have paid the 52nd Avenue and the Brining out of the road fund. So that's why it's down. $185,241.70 in capital fund. $812.59 in Silver Lake Trail. Park fund is $2,088.74. And the cemetery is $57,118.38. And the ARPA fund still has 1632, that's interest, and I moved that over after I got this. So the ARPA funds are all spent. In our checking account or a regular bank account. The capital savings account has $2,749.69. The general fund has a balance of $88,340.72. The municipal street fund has $676.54. Silver Lake Construction Fund has $67.35. The tax fund has $687,740.55, but that's due to be distributed again. And the TNA or the trust fund has $731.01.
We had $5,800 worth of earned income,
And we had what?
$55,804 this time.
Right, for income earned on the investments, yes. Yep.
Okay. Presentation of bills on it.
Yep, you should all have a list of the checks, no, there's not anything real pressing.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. I'll support. Supported. Rachel, roll call vote, please.
Belinda,
Yes.
sorry, Dykstra,
Yes.
Cargill,
Yes,
yes, Waring.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out that of all the monies in the tax fund that we show up on that other list, you know, we get 2,121.56 and 3,947. We get 1% of what gets distributed. So
Did you say 1%?
1%, yep, that's the admin fee. That's what we get out of summer taxes.
Okay, reports, sheriff is not here this evening. Zoning.
Okay, mine's pretty short. We have 89 zoning permits so far this year with 20 new homes. And we have 224 rental permits. And I went to a meeting a couple weeks ago, Labor Day weekend, and I was contacted by the board of the Upper Silver Lake Association. And they are going to say no more renting in Upper Silver Lake starting next year. And we explained to them that, you know, we will give the information out, but there's nothing we can do to help them with that. So we'll see where that goes. That's all I have for
Very
today.
good, thank you. Art?
We had a Apple Fest on this past weekend. They were estimating 15 to 20,000 people came through there. It was pretty busy.
Sure seemed like that.
Yeah, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I got things cleaned up and got the water back on, hoping it pulls the grass back up and makes it look nice. It isn't too bad anyway, other than where the horses went around in a circle in the far back. But, I think it was a hit all in all. Everything else seems to be good.
Great. Jake is not here for fire.
Fire.
You can do it?
I can do fire.
All right, do a fire.
Fire department. A little over 200 calls this year,
oh,
for the fire department. They hired 2 new people to add to the, department. Other than that, fighting fires.
Fires.
Yep.
So we get a rain, because, all right, thank you. Planning Commission. Planning Commission met and they approved the modification for major modification for Dune Locker. And the recommendation is to have the township board approve the major modification for the PUD on parcel 64-6 or 006-004-300-03 to be added to PUD on parcel 64,006-004-100-05. For the sale of condominium storage project. And that met all the standards. And has been approved by the planning committee. So, we need to approve that now for them to move forward. My recommendation, is that we approve that, but add a condition in there that the bylaws, for them to be changed at any time in the future, that it needs to be approved by the planning committee.
So Doug and I, and Rob, we went out and met the owner of the property, and their bylaws are 24 pages long. So, and I read through these, and they are very detailed. They cannot, move into these. They cannot have a residence inside of these. They cannot, there's a lot of things you can do, but you cannot do. And it's very detailed, and they've done a very good job. I commend the planning commission for getting this done. They dotted their i's and crossed their t's on this one. I would make a recommendation or a motion to approve as submitted. Site plan, bylaws, when they have a change, they come back to the planning commission for approval. But my motion is to approve as submitted with that amendment.
So you're looking over here about, there was an issue that came up regarding,
There was an issue with regarding adding the PUD to the additional PUD.
no, I'm not talking about that.
No,
I'm talking about, there was an issue that came up regarding. What happens if the current developer, as the lots get sold, the HOA control of the HOA goes to somebody else? Or what happens if for some reason the PUD, whoever controls it, doesn't enforce the no sleeping, the no whatever? And I spoke with counsel for that one, Brian, and we've agreed that you can, if you want, you can choose not to. You can have a condition that says that we'll put something together that says that the whoever is the HOA of the PUD that's being modified agrees to pay the attorney fees of the township if the township has to step in and enforce it. But that's a complication, and if you're comfortable without that, go ahead. If you're not, that's a mechanism by which you can be assured that it'll get done.
Protects the township.
And it protects the township from a situation where you have a situation that we can't, that we're not thinking of right now, where whoever is in control of whatever HOA says, no, we're gonna let it, we're not gonna enforce it. And it gives us the attorney fees. Now, that's not to say that you have to do that. It's just a possibility.
that is a good possibility, and we can do that. And I'll add that to my motion. They do have a detailed list on how the board of directors would be taken care of. And he's got it strictly in here that like insurance and stuff has to have a be on these fields. I mean, these bylaws are good. So I can add that to the motion. That if they reach the 51% of where.
You don't have to do that. You can just add to the motion that Attorney Montan and I'll get together on some language that that gives the township both the standing and that we're satisfied the standing and the attorney fees of the township will be paid in what we perceive as the extraordinary event that the township's got to step in.
You got that?
Yeah.
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 You can leave the extraordinary event.
So what he said,
Yeah.
I'll give that. Yes.
I'll support.
Moved and supported that we're gonna do McNeely's $500 motion. All right, roll call, please.
Belinda,
Yes,
Cargill,
Yes,
IT, yes. Dykstra
Yes,
and Erie.
Yes. Okay,
while we're on this subject, real quick.
Yep.
And we're at the planning commission. This was a concern of mine. That these could pop up. And help me out, Rob. You could have. A storage. Facility, condo storage facility pop up. On a 5 acre, 10 acre parcel, and they could come in and do this. I would like. To suggest, we can talk about it. A 6-month moratorium on PUDs. Sending it to the planning commission to research this. To see if we have a minimum. Requirement for acreage for a planned unit development. Just wondering if that would be something you guys would entertain.
I think the acreage is real important.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in fact, that was gonna be my next point from the planning committee. The planning committee felt. They wanted me to get the board's approval to move forward with a subcommittee to review that. And they were looking at it more from the site condominium. But I agree with Bill that it should be more in line with looking at the size of PUDs.
Yep.
And that covered both of those areas, so.
So can we take a break for 6 months and send it to the planning commission?
So
Can we,
in general, the moratoriums are kind of a hot issue in courts. And one thing that comes up with, the 6 months is that. Yeah, if somebody's got something that's a hot topic that they want to run in with right now, they're gonna hire Mr. Montan, and he's gonna run into circuit court and get a temporary restraining order. That's what he's gonna seek to do, to get a temporary restraining order while the case goes on. Halting, and what I'm saying is you've got a lot of legal stuff. And you may want to push that, that may be what you want to do with a moratorium. On the other hand, you could set it down there, chop, chop, let's get going on this, turn it around, come back, do what you're gonna do. And you haven't crossed, I don't know what our inline are, as far as PUDs coming down the line
like,
are.
yeah,
Rob, what do we got?
I haven't had anything. Since this one.
So
So,
we have the winter, we could take some time to
yes,
work on this.
yes,
So I guess the other option is,
I'm saying
Can
that you
we-
can do exactly what you wanted to do, and send it down to the planning commission,
Yeah.
along with a little note that says.
Get it done,
yeah,
move on.
Chop, chop, please.
okay,
yeah.
And no more.
and is it option that we could just recommend to the planning committee to change it, the size from 5 acres to
So
say 20
theoretically,
acres?
you're waiting for you're waiting for that recommendation from them, you'd be
Right.
recommending to them to recommend to you.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I say we just have a,
So send it down. and
Send
I'm
it
sure that
down.
message will get down.
Yeah.
let the planning commission chew on it.
Yeah.
Let's get an answer back within 6 months.
Okay.
Let's,
From the planning commission?
yes,
If you're concerned about other stuff coming in and you don't wanna test the moratorium waters, then you would say to them,
How about
talk
a
fast.
couple,
Yeah,
yeah,
a couple
2-3
months.
months.
Yeah, talk fast.
right.
you know, the real problem is that once you turn it over to the lawyer to look at it, it takes 6 months.
Yeah, right.
That's just why, that's why.
I didn't identify any lawyer here,
Yeah.
okay.
That's just.
I motion we send,
Second time.
It's a lot of good lawyers.
I motion we send this, PUD down to the planning commission for review.
I support, or go ahead,
You support.
okay,
All right. Moved and supported, do we have to even vote on it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Probably.
All right, Rachel, we're gonna have a roll call vote. All those in favor of sending this down the line.
Okay,
Yeah, and
We don't need roll call, do we?
we're just gonna do
we'll
it.
get a roll call vote on it.
Okay, all right, Belinda.
yes,
Argil.
Yep.
Eichene, yes, Dykstra,
Yes,
Hearing,
Yes. Okay,
okay, nothing else from planning committee.
right, okay, roads are here. We'll get a report when we get back. Does Barbie have anything?
Barbie does. In general, we completed our assessing audit on Wednesday, August 28th. We passed the audit with only one small technical issue. In our poverty exemption resolution, there's a sentence that states the Board of Review can deviate from the established guidelines if there are extenuating circumstances. This sentence must be removed from the resolution. The Township Board is responsible for setting the guidelines, income requirements, and asset levels. The Board of Review must then follow the guidelines as they are written. This is a very minor adjustment and is included in your agenda for the meeting tonight. There are no cases currently in the Michigan Tax Tribunal. The filing deadline for commercial and industrial properties was May 31st, and the filing deadline for the ag and residential properties was July 31st of 24. State Tax Commission, there's nothing to report. The December Board of Review will be held on Monday, December 9th, 2024 at 11 a.m. if there is business to attend to. Otherwise, they don't have to meet. So. And her poverty exemption is down under new business, so I have the
All right,
language for that, but
can we move ahead then with the unfinished business, award bids for sale of property?
we had referred, our two bidders back and told them to come back to us with their highest and best offer. And we got one bid back. Halleck Contracting Incorporated wishes to submit a bid on the amount of $276,000 for the property described as 006-026-100-4. We are prepared to close within 10 days. And the other bidder did not submit another bid,
All right,
so.
motion to sell the Halleck.
I'll support.
when that motion, we need to assign, appoint Carl Fearing.
Yes,
as the
appoint
signer
Carl
for
to-
Golden Township.
With Carl as a signer for Golden Township.
I'll support that.
all right. Roll call, please.
Belinda,
Yes,
Dykstra,
Yes,
Eichene, yes, Argil,
Yes,
and Fearing.
Yes. All right, Alex got a nice piece of property. All right. Next item on unfinished business.
I'm gonna get a hold of you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You know how she is.
Library, we received a letter this past couple of days
Today.
and, I'll ask, Rachel if she would please read it. You have a copy of it?
Yes. September 10, 24. Our area public library services contracts, dear Golden Township board members. We were recently contracted with a Golden Township resident with an offer to try to help resolve the current year's library services contract situation. The resident, who wishes to remain anonymous, has offered to personally donate $5,000 to add to the $20,000 the township board has indicated is the limit they are willing to pay. At last evening's library board meeting, it was determined that in the interest of knowing your monthly board meeting is this evening, I would present this information to your office in person in advance of your meeting in the event you opt to amend your agenda to discuss the offer. I plan to be available at the meeting to address any questions. Remain open to meeting and discussing both this offer and the overall situation with you, however you wish to proceed. With our ongoing desire to resume library services to your township's residents. Sincerely, Nancy Stewart, President, Board of Trustees, our area public library.
Okay, thank you. Very nice letter, thank you, Nancy. Anyway, this is for the board.
I think it's good to frame what is before the board right now. And what it sounded like was that there was an offer of a donation made to the library to donate $5,000 toward whatever it is, that, you know, the current situation with Golden Township. And then the library is saying, we're able to offer this next year then at $20,000. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that what you understand it to
She's
be?
shaking her head no.
Well, that's gonna be an issue, as to
So-
what this means.
Mhm.
So on June 3rd, Carl and I met with you, Nancy, and talked about this, and our intent was to try to negotiate to settle this. And you shut us right down, said it was not acceptable, there's no negotiation. And unless we pay the 25,000 and agree to sign the contract, which increases 5,000 every year until we reach like $65,000. And at $65,000 per year, we have nobody on the board, we have no representation. And we felt that that was not fair. I mean, obviously, you're charging Crystal and Weir $4 per resident. If you were charging us $4 per resident, it would be far less than even $20,000. And now all of a sudden, just before the board meeting, we get this letter stating that you'll accept 25,000. Where are we going? What? All of a sudden, things have changed?
No, the intention is the same. What we're asking and proposing and expecting is that there be an incremental increase over a number of years to start getting you towards that 0.3 equivalent mil, which is what the State Aid to Public Libraries Act has basically established as the minimum fair market value of the services provided by the library. Right now, you're about a third of the way towards that 0.3 mil. The other contracted townships are closer to halfway. And that's what we're looking at. It's based, you're looking at 3 townships that are a lot smaller than yours, and their valuation is a lot less. The 5,000 would be given to you, to the township. We would get the money to you. And in turn would expect the 25,000 for this year with a signed contract to that. Our concern is that every year from now on, we still do expect an increase. This is for services provided. This is not a golden egg for our library. You know, for 20 years, we did not increase your amount, so you got a real heck of a deal for all those years. And our board struggled with this for a year before we approached the townships. Because we knew that expecting a full increase to the 0.3 mil equivalent would be very difficult for budgeting for the townships. So we approached all the townships and proposed an incremental increase. So you know, in January, we also plotted it based on when you do your budgeting. So when we send the information out in January, you know that, you know what we are expecting in the contract today. So if you accept this $5,000 offer, sign the contract for the 25,000 for this year, we still expect that next year it continue to increase. Now, we're willing to help you. We did talk about the first time I met with Connie and with Carl, we talked about the possibility of going for a millage. 0.3 mil or whatever it may be. Right now, the only representation on our board is from our legal service area. And our legal service area is comprised of Hart and Hart Township, which pays about 68 to 70% of our budget is funded completely by Hart and Hart Township. And they are paying just under 2 mils each. So that's the bulk of our funding. We're trying to get all of our contracted townships up to close to 0.3 instead of 2 mils. So that's, we will help you. It's the township that has to put it on the ballot for millage. But we will help you with the wording for that, you know, and that's a way to address the future too. But yes, we do expect payment for services. You know, a point was made at our board meeting last night. You don't negotiate with the electric company for services or anybody else that bills you. We're just saying we want to raise you up to closer to what the cost of the services provide.
Well, we've heard, I think, if Mr. Dykstra and you could get together and talk about it, but what's the board's feeling right now?
I don't think, Carol, there's nothing to talk about. I mean, with moving forward with 5,000 a year. And having no representation. I mean, when we met with them, all they wanted was a new boardroom. And since then, they met and, well, they want an electric charging station. It's not, I mean, if the library wasn't funded. I mean, right now, their budget, when we reviewed it, they were meeting their budget. And so, with no voice to how our money's being used, I think it's unfair.
I do too.
And, as far as, their point about the 3/10 of a mil, according to my understanding in what our attorney reviewed and reported back is 3/10 of a mil is only for the area that is represented by the library. And that is the ones that are on the board, and that's the ones that are in their immediate area. It's not necessarily outside of that.
So to review that real quick. The qualification of a library, an existing library to be a part of the state funding network is reviewed by state library. They're the department that says, okay, you've got enough, you don't have enough. And they interpret the statute to say that the 3/10 applies to everybody. In my opinion, they're wrong. I think they're doing that for whatever reason it is, but there's a reason why the statute uses the term local support when it talks about whether or not that district library qualifies to be a part of the larger network. And so we just disagree on that one. It's not like it's black and white. There are people that think differently than me, but that is what this attorney thinks.
Good.
We can get services from Shelby, Water. And I understand Manistee's here tonight and they've had billboards, that you can sign up there.
The Hart Public School students. Where are they going for their library needs?
My understanding is that they can check out 3 books a day. Right now, the kids. So even though they live in Golden Township.
So the school
Should
gets
we
it.
clarify Manistee's position while you're having this discussion?
Carl? Oh,
They're on the agenda.
Yeah, when they get that file, please. All right, so Connie, what, any thoughts? No,
I think. I think it's the move one.
Do you have an existing motion right now?
We have no
No.
motion right now.
Nope.
The only thing we have is. The question I would have, is this a contract for 1 year? And then we have to re-up it every year, or is this,
So what I was speaking to with the contract, you just heard the mention of the contracts for 25 grand, and then this 5 grand is gonna appear, it's anonymous. Yeah, I'm just not sure, I mean, it all sounded like the 5 grand was gonna go to the library, and the library was gonna send you 5 grand, then you're gonna send 25 grand back to the
We
library.
would facilitate getting the 5 grand to the township.
but if we did this for 1 year.
Yeah, that's,
What happens?
Do we
there's
have,
no.
are we locked into a contract forever, increasing $5,000?
Well, theoretically.
They won't even do that unless we sign the contract with the 20, give them 25 plus sign the contract.
So what's the additional $5,000 going towards this?
This,
Mike?
the next year.
The next year, what's the benefit to the Golden Township for increasing? What is the services increasing to? Why are we increasing to $60,000 over the course of time? And why are we going to negotiate a $60,000 payment over the time? We might not even be on this board and we're
Right.
locked in.
We do the contracts a year at a time. Current contract is for 25,000, is what this year would be.
So then we have to go through this every year.
Yes.
I don't wanna go through this every year.
Mhm.
I believe
I
I believe Connie and Rachel have taken the blunt of this. Everybody's come in, asked questions. I don't feel it's fair to our office staff, Connie and Rachel. And Brenda. They have to answer to this every single year.
It's not gonna happen. I guess.
multi-year contract, set amount. Um. You sh- if a group wants to put it on the ballot, that's their choice. 3/10 of a mil on your property. That's up to you.
So at this point, we have options for our community through other library services. Is there, well, step out of the box here, is there a way on the tax roll when it goes out? To ask that question on a survey, do you want to put this on the ballot?
So. Right now, I'm trying to. Keep you guys focused on. There's been libraries come to you and said, we'll do this, whatever this is. And then right now you can move. To do that and second that, presumably discuss that and get on it, or you can move not to do that. Or you can choose. Table, you could table it, discuss it more. But what's before you right now is the offer. That it's, it's logical to reply to.
Well,
I would table it.
I would
Okay,
table
well,
it, yes. I don't think we
we
can.
got the thing tonight.
For one thing, we just got it today. Rachel
All
didn't
right.
see it till 7 o'clock tonight, so. It's not something we wanna just jump into anyway, so.
So it'll come up next. It's on the table.
It's on the
Table it,
table.
And it'll come up at the next meeting.
Or do we need a work session on this?
Very good.
And we are willing to speak again to kind of, discuss the overall situation. And I can explain some more things that I know there's misinformation that is out around Golden Township. And I'd be happy to clarify that too, to go into more depth. We'd like to meet with a couple of representatives from our.
All right, thank you, Nancy. All right, any other questions before the board? Ed, no? All right, let's go on to number 3. It says revisit zoning for, or did we
We're
take
gonna
care of
have
that?
Menasee.
We're gonna, all right, we've been asked to,
I thought that was 4, but okay.
pardon?
Nothing, never mind.
There was 2 ladies here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pam Evans and I'm here representing the Manistee County Board of Directors. And with me tonight is Julie Cerrone, who's the director of our library system. And we're really here tonight. We know you're having some difficult conversations about your library and your library services, so we're sympathetic about how hard that is to be talking about the funds needed for a library. But we're really here as a courtesy tonight to let you know of an action that our board has taken, and it's related to your library here. So I'm gonna let Julie explain that to you.
So we would like to request that our library link be taken off the Golden Township website. We were contacted regarding.
Would you step up to the little blue line, please, and then it goes out over our electronic media, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, so we're requesting that the link to Manistee County Library be removed from the Golden Township website. We also wanted to come as a professional courtesy to let you know that our service area will be redefined because we can't absorb the digital service costs of a whole township.
Okay. Digital costs, okay. So to use the township, if they wanted to use Manistee, there would be additional costs. Is what you're saying.
Right now, we're working on redoing our policy, so I don't have that to share with you because it hasn't passed. That's something that will probably take effect in October.
Okay.
But it will be something that we're working on, and we wanted to let you know. There wasn't, we had no idea that this was happening, but we wanted to come in person and let you know what our library system is doing so that you have an idea of how you guys want to move forward, based on, knowing all
Access
the.
to our library.
Yeah, knowing all the information.
So just to be clear, when someone from Golden Township checks out something digitally from Manistee County, through Manistee County, we pay for each single thing that's checked out. So if you check out an ebook or a movie or TV show, any of that, that's a cost to our library. And so right now, we do have the village and we do have taxpayers who pay for those services, but we have to be very careful with their money. And so that is an additional cost that we just can't afford. And we've already seen, since your link went up on your website, we've already seen people requesting library cards from Manistee County, from Golden Township. And so it's just not something we're gonna be able to afford to sustain. Now, for you to come into our library in person and check out things from the collection doesn't cost us anything additionally. So that's not a service we can provide to folks from here. It's just a little bit of a trip to go to Manistee County for that. So did I clarify that well enough? Yeah. So we're sympathetic. We know, libraries are important. We know that having access to books and ebooks is really important, but it's just something we can afford to do for you. So.
Do you have I know that foreign citizens outside the library's district that the library has the option under the state aid statute to allow to charge individuals. And do you have a program so from Golden Township, individuals could access your they could
pay for a
They could
library,
pay
they
for
could pay for library services through.
and then it's all good.
Yeah, I think that is true, isn't it?
It is true right now, but I want to clarify that we have not passed this yet, so I can't say that in October.
That it will continue.
Yes, exactly.
But
So we
right
need to
now,
look at
that-
all aspects, yes.
Right now, that would take care of the cost, assuming that the charge was enough, which is
Yeah.
exactly what the state aid says. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you for coming. Is there any other questions?
I'm
for the
good.
board?
You will be receiving a letter from our board, just again, as a courtesy to know that we're gonna make an official notification of this to you. So we wanted you to hear from us tonight first before.
That's great. The official notification is that you're changing the policy.
We're asking for you to remove the link from your website.
Thank you. Oh. Very good. All right, Doug, back to zoning 4.18. We already approved that.
We already approved that. Well,
Wonderful.
It was approved, but I wanted. Hey, Rob. On 4.18. You said that I had to bring that up again.
I said,
4.18 is.
Is the accessory
you
building.
gotta go back to the planning committee
Right,
and ask for them to revisit.
the board would do that,
Yes, what
Right.
I'm asking
right?
is for you guys to go back and revisit this.
You're asking, I'm sorry, I apologize, Rachel, you're asking the board to tell the planning commission to review 4.18.
Okay, there you go.
So
Sounds good, right?
bring me up to speed on 4.18. I was not here last week or last month. What's our concerns with 4.18?
Well, it's an accessory building. See, we've always had this thing where you have to have 720 square feet. Maybe you should explain it.
I
Rick.
can. So at this point, in order to have any building on a vacant land, or to do anything on a vacant land, you have to have a dwelling of 720 square foot. The board, the planning commission and the board voted to allow up to 120 square foot accessory building on a piece of vacant land so that they could store their lawnmowers and stuff in there.
It's basically a shed.
Yeah, and according to, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Rachel's concerned that it could go up taller, a second story, that kind of thing. And I'm not sure what all of your others issues are with it.
Seems to me
Well,
like.
that would be the accessory building, doesn't it state that it has to be under 120 square feet?
Correct.
So therefore you can't add to that building going up, sideways, or underneath without adding square footage. So that's a moot point at that point. It's a storage shed.
I don't know, Ted Ford was saying that they had a stipulation like that, but people started going double.
I understand, but then they have to go through the building permit process. And the zoning administrator can then see that's going on. It's more than 120 square feet, and our county ordinance is 120, isn't it?
Anything under 120 does not need a building permit.
Correct,
Anything
but
over
Anything
does.
over, so as soon as you go up one level, you gotta go through the county and you gotta go through.
That's not square feet, that's cubic feet.
You can't really do that without
No,
building permits and electrical permits and.
You see,
I don't see how.
I think it's covered. That it's gotta be 120 square feet or less. For a storage shed, a 10 by 12.
And by 12, we have one that size. And you can very easily put a little cot in there
We do all sorts of
and
stuff.
you just do all sorts of things in there. I mean, that was
it seems to me
my
like.
thought, that it was.
Don't we have someplace in the, I can look it up, but don't we have something that you cannot stay overnight on vacant land? You
Yeah.
cannot have an RV, you cannot have a tent, because we had a problem with vacant land that you
Yep.
could then
yeah, that was,
put a tent on without a
Casing up.
dwelling. We already have that covered. So if you don't have a 720 square foot dwelling on it,
you
legal
cannot
resident,
stay.
you can't stay on that property to begin with.
That's right, but somebody's gotta enforce it. Are you gonna trust them not to use that for a camper? 120 square feet, that's bigger than some travel trailers. By.
Yeah. Basically, if somebody wants to do that, I mean, they could pop a tent up and camp for the weekend too, right?
Yep, they could.
I mean, I don't know, I,
But that got changed in our ordinance too.
that's right.
It used to be RVs, now it's overnight stay.
Yeah.
So there is no overnight stay allowed anymore on vacant.
On vacant land.
On vacant land.
At this point, I don't think we need to do anything additional, and if it becomes a problem down the road, then we can revisit it.
And you aren't gonna cover all the scenarios.
I don't know how you can. afford it.
You wanna vote on it? You wanna make a motion?
No, Just once you start down that rat hole, you're never gonna cover
Oh,
it.
meaning you
Well,
wanna
Rachel
make a
might wanna
motion
make
to
a
send it
motion.
back.
No, it's fine. If you guys are gonna, it's dead, so. Not die.
Okay. You gonna chew on that one or are you gonna let it go?
No, we're gonna get this.
Okay. Bids for mowing, snow plowing. I see that. We're already thinking about
And
snow plowing.
the auditor, and
No, I just put that on there.
I know you did, but because that, we can't just do that for an ad because the auditors aren't gonna read that. They'll have to do that via letter or something, but,
So
but I
Rachel,
just thought we ought to take care of the mowing is, his 3 years are up and snow plowing, likewise bids, but nobody else bids because, and so I think we ought to take an ad in the Echo or the Journal or both and get it out there.
I would motion to put an ad in the Echo and the Journal.
Okay.
For snow plowing and mowing for the
For next year.
24-25 season.
Been moved,
that,
supported,
well,
Yes.
Rachel, one additional thing. Putting the emergency response building or fire.
I did put it on it, but I don't know if you got the second,
I did,
so I have it on there, it's this emergency services building as needed.
Okay.
It's on there.
good. I'll support that motion.
all right. Roll call,
Melinda,
Yes.
Dykstra,
Yes,
yes, Cargill,
Yes,
Fearing,
yes. Very good, thank you. Trimming at Mears Cemetery. Some of those trees are gonna get whacked pretty heavy.
oh, they need trim really
Yeah.
bad.
yeah.
Didn't they just do this?
No, I hadn't.
I don't think this is not for
This is the bushes
Oh.
and like that.
shrubs and.
Okay,
They haven't been done all year, and I'm not sure it got done last year.
so this is
Yeah.
just, this is not any trees
I
or
think
anything.
Bob was the last one that did it.
Right, and that's been a couple of years. This is just the bushes and the low lane, low.
okay.
I would make a motion to accept the bid for.
I'll support that.
Moved and supported, since we're spending money, I think we do that again.
Alright.
Roll call again,
Cargill,
Yes.
Dykstra,
Yes,
yes. Melinda,
Yes.
Fearing,
yes. Very good, thank you. What is L 4029?
It's approving our millages for the winter tax bills.
Okay,
The county operating,
Yeah.
fire and the roads.
we got
And I
it,
don't have it, so Rachel must have it.
it's right here. What is it, we wanna know about it?
I wanna know what it is.
Okay, so operating is right now 1.1782. Fire, 0.9536. Roads, 1.9007. Those are the ones for this year.
yes,
Do you need a motion to approve?
We just
Yeah,
need
we
to
have,
approve
the
it.
board has to prove that
all right,
before we can put it on the tax bills.
so
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll support it.
moved and supported, roll call again, please.
Yes. Belinda,
Yes.
Cargill,
Yes.
Dykstra,
yes,
Fearing.
Yes.
We just
Poverty
passed our road
exemption
mill-
amendment, huh?
We just passed our road millage and it's already coming down.
Okay, on that resolution for the poverty exemption,
Oh, yeah, I have that.
Barbie thought it was just a one sentence, and I saw she didn't update her letter, but it's number 16 has to be removed as well. I sent it to you guys, yesterday, I believe.
I-
So, all of 16 is striked, and then just that one sentence that I had sent earlier is also striked. So we need to amend this at this meeting, please.
Well, that's-
So
Did Barbie look at this?
She's the one that gave it to me.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Okay.
she said this has to be done. That's why we didn't get a perfect rating when she went and had her.
The poverty exemption guidelines need to be updated with legislation changes made for PA 253. The clause, the board of review may deviate for compelling reasons, and number 16, factors disqualifying an exemption need to be removed. So this 16 is, it is possible for an applicant to qualify under each separate factor, but not qualify when all the factors are considered together. The following are examples of how a combination of factors may disqualify a person. An applicant has a total asset value of $40,000, but gave away $20,000 within the last 10 years. An applicant qualifies under the income or asset factors, but recently spent 10 grand for a life insurance policy with his or her children as beneficiaries. Or the applicant qualifies under the asset of income levels, but voluntarily quit from a well-paying job. So that would be, those things would be crossed off as a part of the poverty exemption.
I made the motion to approve.
Support.
Should we wait for Carl?
Yeah.
Sorry. We make a motion to approve the poverty exemption as amended.
Nice.
Voted on it.
Now we can take the vote.
Say,
All right,
Yep.
say all in favor, say aye. Say
okay. Signify by saying I smart ass. Opposed? Right. All right. Any other items before the board? All right, we'll have public comment now. For those of you that wish to say something, we have the two blue lines here. Please come on up one at a time.
Marty Gaten, North Shore Drive out on Silver Lake. I just want to call to the board's attention that the road commission has placed a road closed sign at the terminus of North Shore Drive into the dunes. They put a sign that says it's closed after the entrance to the DNR's pedestrian area. It went up last week. I happened to be on the road when a town or a road commission pickup truck came up, put a sign a little bit further back that said road closed ahead, and then put a barrier across the right-hand lane right at the pedestrian or at the entrance, the vehicle entrance to the pedestrian area. I'm simply calling it to your attention. I had never heard about it here before and wondering if the road commission had heard about it or the roads committee had heard about it. Again, what they've basically closed off is that turnaround that we can't get cleaned out, that is now well beyond being cleaned out. I'm suspect that they're just trying to say the road's closed so they don't have to do anything about it, or Golden Township needs to do something about it, or the DNR needs to do something about it. But I simply call it to your attention. I would request humbly that the township investigate this and see what they can do to turn it around. We shouldn't be able to, the road commission shouldn't be able to just come up and say, hey, we're not going to, we're gonna close this road because we decided to close the road without letting any of the community or the township know about it. Thanks.
Carl Cott, 34th Avenue. I have some questions for the Hart Library. What are they doing with all this money? They don't tell us what they're doing. They want to put in plug-in stations and
You
what
should
are they
talk,
trying to do?
take those questions to the board if you.
Yeah. Please,
What are they trying to do? Be a big city or what? Why do we have, if they've been getting along with the money they've been getting, and I know that City of Hart and the township obviously been paying their share, but I think we've been paying our share too. And there's a lot of people here in this township that need to use the library. We don't need plug-in stations. We don't drive electric cars up here. I don't know what they're trying to be. I mean, they got a tin man. I don't know what good that is, and they closed off a parking lot in Hart. What is Hart trying to do? I mean, I don't understand why they're holding the torch over our head and wanting all this money. What are they doing with it? We don't have anybody on their board. They won't they don't tell us what they're doing with the money. And if they've been getting along, why is it gonna cost this much more money to operate that library? I think it's kind of a disaster. And I think the people of Hart should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, I got my usual complaints. I've seen the bid for the tree trimming. We still haven't got nothing done on the township roads. I took my motor home out of the garage and went to the UP last week. As I come out of my road, I heard something hit the roof and I didn't pay no attention. When I got up to the UP, it was still on there. I had a branch with a bunch of leaves on it. I mean, the sides are bad enough, but they could cut the tops too. It's just not a good thing. When does the county board meet?
the county road commission board,
Yes,
Oh,
I'd like to go to a meeting to find out what they're doing with all the money that we send them.
I think,
Wednesday, on Wednesdays.
yeah, but it's not at the road commission anymore. I'll have to find out where it's at.
This lady right here said,
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock.
Where? Griswold Street.
Yeah,
Where?
And
Griswold Street,
where
where
the
the,
probation patrol and the 4-H offices.
Okay, so there's a meeting there then?
yes,
Road commission?
it's on the left side, they'll have a calendar, you look at the calendar, say road commission, and you go right in there.
Okay.
I'll be there tomorrow.
You'll be there tomorrow.
You can follow me.
Okay. Because something needs to be done. And then Upper Silver Lake has a dump site to take all our brush to. And I went there yesterday. I mean, I drive a Suburban and it's rubbing the top and it's hitting the sides of the windows and everything else. And I mean, it's crazy that the township gets all the money that it does from Golden Township then to the county. And we don't get any services to speak of. What they do with it, I don't know. And as far as the library goes, I'm not one that uses it, but I know that the kids need it. I've never been to a high school in my life or a school that didn't have a library. And I think that the school should set up something, or the library should set up something with the school to at least allow the students to come in. That would be the very least that they could do. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. And
Hello, everyone. I'm Austin Garcia. I live on Taylor Road, next to Carl, basically. Longtime listener, first time caller, so bear with me on this. I'm here on behalf of my family, my wife Courtney, my 2 energetic kids, Wyatt and Riley. So I'm here to give support of the library. I think we should pay it for this year. And I know it's a lot of money. 25,000 is a lot of money for a household. I understand that. I work with numbers all day. I'm a financial advisor. For the budget that we're listening today, it's only 1.6% of our budget is 25,000. So as a household, yes, 25,000 is a lot, but as a budget for a township, it's not that much. And, you know, me personally, I know we pay for fire, I know we pay for police, I don't wanna ever have to use those facilities, I don't want them to ever have to come to my house, but. If they do come, I wanna make sure it's covered, so that's kind of how I feel about the library. And the library is unique where you can actually make money off of it. You can go to the library, you can learn a skill by reading books, plumbing, anything in trades, woodworking, you can do that. Currently, right now, or in retirement if you're still working. But it's one of the unique things that you can pay for and you get money back. When you have a fire at your house, you're not gonna get money back. You're not going to be further ahead than where you were. Same thing with, the police department. But before I was financial advisor, I actually worked for a nonprofit and I helped facilitate grants and all that. And the only way nonprofits work in this town is if everyone as a community gives money towards it. Yes, there's things that we don't use. I can tell you, there are roads that I don't use in this township. I'm sorry, I live way over there. I don't usually go over there. But it doesn't mean I think it's fair that I can pay my share to help those people on those roads. And so I think it's a very positive thing as a community to come together and pay the library for this year. And I also heard in the argument that, you guys want representation on the board, which I agree with. Their policies right now, if I'm not mistaken, is you gotta have 2 mills to be represented, and I don't wanna pay 2 mills for the library. They're only presenting 0.3, which is more than reasonable if we don't want reputation, but if we do, obviously 2 mills is a little bit crazy. I went on to state of Michigan. You guys had an audit, you're doing an audit right now. And what I found was in March of 2023, we actually had an increase of 58,000 than the previous year in terms of general fund. So we actually are further ahead than the previous year, and you guys had already paid the library after that. And so obviously we're making money, we're budgeting well, we're not losing money. And I think that the library is an important factor for our education because you kind of see it, education is everything. If you have education, you can do better as a society. We don't want to take that away and make more barriers of doing different libraries scattered. So it sounds like we can't do Manistee. It sounds like we might have to hodgepodge where we go. Let's work with the library. I know we've had some tension there. I don't care. I could be there as a mediator. I don't care. I just want to help get this process along. So what my ask is to pay the library this year and then come up with a plan for the next couple of years. Whether that be a millage or a budget agreement of 3 to 5 years. So I don't have to do this every year. Because I know you guys as a board have your opinion and I love that. You guys are residents just like us. But you guys are 2 roles here. You have your resident, then you also have your representation for everybody else. I know there's a lot of people in support of paying the library, they just can't be here. And they don't like talking in public like I'm doing today. And so I think for you guys to take heat off your back, why don't you have it go to a vote? If everyone says no, and it doesn't pass, then okay, we can revisit that. But if it does pass, then that takes heat off your back that you're not making decisions for everybody else. As an elected official that you don't know by everyone else. We don't have a big enough room here for everyone to fit in here and say, hey, this is what I want. So going to the vote will take heat off your back. We'll know for sure what really wants to be passed or not. And so that's all I really have, and I appreciate you guys' time.
Next. No. All right, thank you very much, Mr. McNeely. Any
You're good.
closing words? All right, thank you very much. Good evening.